Welcome back to In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price, CEO of ACADEMIA.EDU, bringing you another episode where we peel back the layers of scholarly research and, well, just think together. Remember, I'm here to present the paper neutrally. These are scholarly perspectives, not my personal views, and research is always something to reflect on, not take as gospel today. I've got a fascinating and, well, kind of provocative paper to discuss. The author is Isabela Vasiliu-Scraba, and the work's title, translated from Romanian, is The Invention of the Scientific Prestige That Eluded Ioan P. CULIANU. Whew, that's a strong title, right? And if you're interested in intellectual history or curious about how reputations are made and unmade, this one is really going to catch your attention. So, what's the core question at the heart of this paper? Isabela Vasiliu-Scraba dives right into the controversy surrounding Ioan Petru CULIANU, a Romanian scholar who was, in recent decades, built up by the media and some academic circles as a kind of new Mircea Eliade, the famous historian of religions. The key question is, was CULIANU's rapid rise and the aura of prestige around him an organic result of academic merit, or was it, as the author argues, a carefully constructed illusion? Especially considering the Romanian context of ideological manipulation before and after communism. This is pretty significant when you think about how cultural figures are shaped by society, not just their own accomplishments. But why does this matter for us, for listeners outside Romanian history or literary disputes? Well, it really asks us to question the sources of authority and prestige in the academic world. Are our heroes built from genuine merit, or is there more going on under the surface? It's never a settled question, and that's why research like this is so interesting, even a bit unsettling. So, let's get into the arguments and findings, okay? Vasiliu-Scraba builds her case around several main points. First, she shows how, during Romania's communist regime and beyond, the media and official institutions were often tools for orchestrated campaigns, prolet cultism, as she calls it, and then something similar in the post-90s era, so-called neo-prolet cultism. The argument is that after the fall of communism, old manipulative strategies didn't vanish. They just took on new forms with new heroes. In this case, the hero is Ioan Petru CULIANU. Vasiliu-Scraba suggests that instead of earning renown through academic achievement, CULIANU's image was inflated by media campaigns, sometimes with assistance from influential figures. Apparently, claims that he succeeded Eliade or was a world-class scholar in his own right. According to the paper, those were, in part, manufactured, often glossing over his more modest roles as an academic assistant or visiting professor, and exaggerating his position at prestigious institutions like the University of Chicago. She points to evidence, curriculum vitae statements, public claims, that, in her view, don't quite line up with the actual trajectory of his career. Things like being depicted as the full heir to Eliade, when really he might just have been a temporary lecturer at best. There are some pretty strong claims in the paper about falsification and omissions, including how roles get upgraded in retellings and how inconvenient details like periods on the academic margins or even unemployment are barely mentioned in these narratives. The significance here, at least from the paper's perspective, is not so much about CULIANU the human being, but about a pattern of cultural manipulation. How easy it can be to build someone up with the right institutional and media support. The author draws frequent parallels to earlier communist-era literary promotion of figures with thin credentials but major official backing, and she points to current risks, especially in situations where popular media or official documentaries might unwittingly or intentionally repeat inflated stories without digging into the primary facts. And here's where things might get a little personal for you, the listener. The point isn't to discredit, but to encourage all of us, right, to examine what we believe about big names, whether it's in academia, science, or even celebrity culture. Are we seeing the person behind the reputation, or just the reputation? How often does this apply in fields you care about? It makes you think, what does prestige really mean? And who gets to decide? On a little side note, honestly, thinking about how reputations are made reminded me of a time I got really into reviewing online pizza places in my neighborhood. Some of the spots that everyone online raved about literally had the worst pizza I'd ever tasted. Reputation and reality, they don't always match up in food or in academia, it seems. Anyway, that's my digression. Maybe you've got your own version. So, wrapping up, Isabela Vasiliu-Scraba's paper is a sharp, sometimes biting critique. Again, I'm presenting this neutrally, reminding us that history is never just a list of facts. Every name, every reputation has a story, shaped by people, politics, and larger currents. And as always on In Depth with Academia, I just want to emphasize, scholarship's not the final truth. It's an invitation to explore, question, reflect. Thanks for joining me today. Keep looking into those stories behind the research. Keep asking what makes reputation and value, and don't be afraid to challenge the official versions, even if it's just about pizza. Until next time.